Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 256 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yang looked at Xiao Yan, who was playing with Xiao within the courtyard. He smiled slightly as he heard the old and young laughter. Perhaps it was because there was a blood relation between them, but after this period of familiarization, Xiao had clearly become a little familiar with this grandfather, who was a stranger. Her joyous manner completely did not treat him as an outsider. "Teacher, is there any news of the Hunclan?" Xiao Yang turned his head around after glancing at the courtyard. He looked at Yao Lao under the stone pavilion and asked. Yao Lao held the teacup and took a gently sip. Immediately, he frowned and nodded. Father has been monitoring the Hunclan realm during this period of time. However, there was no signs of a large group of people entering and leaving. There has been hardly anyone who had left the Hunclan alone. We have also completely cut off these Hunclan members who had appeared alone. However, we did not obtain any useful news. Zana by the side softly said. Xiao Yang also knitted his brow tightly. Logically speaking, the Hunclan should not be acting in such a calm fashion. They had been seeking the Tushi ancient god Jade for thousands of years. Now that we have found it after much difficulty, how could we not hurry and open the Tushi ancient god Jade? Just what are these people doing? Xiao Yang softly sighed. At this moment, being anxious would not be any help. All they could do was to wait for the Hunclan to take action. From the strength that the Hunclan had displayed back then, even if they were to launch a big campaign and attack the Hun realm, it would likely be a futile attempt. Moreover, if they were ambushed, the Alliance army would definitely suffer a great loss. Regardless of what the situation was, the Hun realm had been managed by the Hunclan for countless number of years. The latter would have the advantage of fighting in home territory. This was something that Xiao Yang and the rest were unwilling to see. We can only wait now. Yao Lao placed his teacup down and sighed. Xiao Yang smiled bitterly and nodded. They once again discussed about some matter before Xiao Yang finally lifted his head. He looked at the two figures, who had walked into the courtyard, and involuntarily smiled as he stood up and welcomed them. Big brother, second brother. One of the two figures who had entered had a somewhat stiffened footsteps while the other had strong footsteps. These two were Xiao Ding and Xiao Li, who had hurried over from the northwestern region a short time ago. The injuries of Xiao Ding's leg had been treated by Xiao Yang during this period of time. The reason that his legs were unable to move back then was because of the poison from the Hunclan. With Xiao Yang's current ability, it would not be difficult to change a leg for Xiao Ding, much less expelling poison. The reason for Xiao Ding's stiff footsteps was due to him not being used to walking with his legs. Xiao Ding duo grinned after seeing Xiao Yang walking over with a smile. They stepped forward and smashed their fist onto Xiao Yang's chest. A deep bond between brothers was revealed within their eyes. Little fellow, back then I was still asking about why you are totally unconcerned about the Yang alliance. It seems that this is because you possess an even more terrifying alliance on the Central Plains. Xiao Ding laughingly said. Xiao Yang was helpless. He did not really like to manage all these. He was forced by the circumstances when he established the Yang alliance back then. It was his intention to create a faction that would be able to protect the Xiao clan from harm after he left. The Sky Mansion alliance on the Central Plains, however, was established completely because he wanted to deal with the Hun clan. Otherwise, he would really not have the mood to organize some alliance. Is the situation at the Yang alliance well? There isn't anything wrong, is there? Xiao Yang smilingly asked. That place is indeed considered a backcountry when compared to the Central Plains. Even the Hun clan did not extend its claws too far into it. The current Yang alliance can be considered the overlord of the northwestern part of the continent. Of course, there are also some other fellows who are watching it with ill intent. Xiao Li continued to smile. Both of his eyes were shut. There was a glow glint flowing within them just like back then. In the current Yang alliance, even some subordinates were afraid of this face of his and did not dare to lie in front of him. However, if those people were to learn that the chief of the Yang Alliance also have such an establishment in the Central Plains, it is likely that they will come submitting to us the next day. Xiao Ding shook his head and laughed. Xiao Yang also smiled. However, he was not really interested in this. Forget about the northwestern region of the continent. With his current strength, there were hardly any factions or experts that he was interested in even in the Central Plains. He did not have the time to bother about these small fights. Oh, that's right, Xiao Li suddenly recalled something as he suddenly turned towards Xiao Yang and said, "A couple of days earlier, I have received word from the Xiao Gate. It seems that some unknown experts had appeared at the Black Corner region. Those fellows were very similar to those from the Hall of Soul, whom we had fought before." Xiao Yang was startled upon hearing this. He thought for a moment before recalling with a bitter laughter. It seemed that it was the Xiao Gate which both he and Xiao Li had established at the Black Corner region back then. Now that he thought about it, it seemed that he had left behind a foundation in many places. A person who did not specialize in management had ended up establishing so many factions. This was a little comical now that he thought about it. It could be some of the lingering forces of the Hunclan. The Hunclan also has some branch halls outside of the Central Plains. However, they are unimportant compared to those in the Central Plains. Xiao Yang shook his head and spoke indifferently. He had received many news of the remnant forces of the Hall of Soul being discovered every day. Hence, he did not really thought much about it. Xiao Li nodded after hearing Xiao Yang's words. He said, "In that case, I shall send information to the Xiao Gate and the Gonan Academy to finish them off." Gonan Academy? Xiao Yang smiled. He was about to nod his head when a light suddenly flashed across his mind. His body stiffened for a moment. In the next instant, he suddenly lifted his head. Both of his dark black eyes had light wildly flashing within them. The underground magma world. Xiao Yang suddenly cried out explosively, causing everyone within the courtyard to be startled. They hurriedly surrounded him. "What is it?" Kaylin knitted her brow and asked. Xiao Yang's expression was a little excited. He grabbed Cai Lin's worst and joyously said, "Do you still remember the underground magma world below the Gonan Academy's blazing sky chi refining tower?" Kaylin's cold face immediately turned flush red after hearing his words. She stared at Xiao Yang in embarrassment and unceremoniously withdrew her hand from the latter's grip. How could she not remember that place? It was at that place that Xiao Yang, who had gone crazy, had forced himself on her. Cough. Xiao Yang recovered after Kaylin pulled her hand from his with great force. He looked at Kaylin, who was so embarrassed that she had the impulse to bite at him. He was startled for a moment before he seemed to have recalled something. After which, he quickly laughed in embarrassment towards the sky. Xiao Yang calmed down after laughing dryly. A glow flashed across his eyes. The location of the Tushi ancient god mansion had always been a mystery. That Tushi ancient god jade did not show any mysterious signs all the time that it had been in his hand. If one wished to really insist that there was, it would be the strange reaction of the ancient jade when he was at that place. That place was the underground magma world of the Gonan Academy. At that place, the Tushi ancient god had shown a strange reaction for the first and only time. However, Xiao Yang had been chased by the strange creatures at that place until he was running around in panic. Naturally, he did not dare to investigate anything as he directly fled. Now that he thought about it, that magma world did indeed appear a little strange. Perhaps it was possible to find out some information related to the Tushi ancient god mansion at that place. Teacher, find 10 elite Dosheng from the Alliance army to follow me. Zano, Kaylin, the both of you should also leave with me. Xiao Yang did not hesitate even a little after he thought of this. He immediately spoke in a decisive manner. Where? Everyone was startled after hearing Xiao Yang's sudden order. The Gonan Academy. If I guess correctly, that place will likely have clues to the Tushi ancient god mansion. Xiao Yang spoke in a deep voice. Yao Lao and the rest had a change in expression upon hearing this. Coincidentally, we have built a wormhole that connects to the northwestern region back then. I will lead some people over. Teacher, report this matter to Uncle Gu, clan head Lei Ying and Yang Jin. I? Yao Lao nodded. If it was really as Xiao Yang had said, this would really be a big matter. However, I am also not very certain about this. Hence, tell Uncle Gu not to ease up on the monitoring. Once he discover a large group of Hunclan experts, all of you should also hurry to the Black Corner region. Xiao Yang quickly said. Relax. After seeing Xiao Yang complete issuing his instructions, Xiao Yang briefly said goodbye to Xiao Zhong before leading Kailin and Zuna to hurriedly leave. Yao Lao swiftly turned his head in a grave fashion and walked towards the meeting room after seeing the backs of the trio leave. Hun Realm. Hun Qiandi sat on the leader's seat within a large hall that had a black flame burning within it. He looked down towards all the bowing human figures below and asked indifferently, "Is there any news?" Replying to clan head, "After our investigation during this period of time, we have found 5 areas that are similar to the places described on the map. After some careful observation, we have discovered that there is one place which has the greatest similarity." A black-haired old man respectfully replied. Hun Qiandi's indifferent eyes finally brightened after hearing this. He smilingly looked at the person below and said, "Continue." That location is called the Black Corner region. Although there are currently many factions present in that place, the general terrain is completely the same as that on the map. The old man replied. Black Corner region. Hun Qiandi slowly stood up. His eyes swept over the hall as he said, "Which group is the closest to that place?" Clan head, Elder Hun Yu seems to be in that region. He is the person in charge of the Hall of Soul outside of the Central Plains. A person replied. Give him an order to lead all the members of the Hall of Soul outside to hurry to the Black Corner region. Completely eliminate that place. He should understand what to do. Hun Qiandi replied in a faint voice. Understood. The black-cloaked old man below immediately replied in a respectful manner and slowly withdrew. Hun Qiandi lifted his head after seeing the old man disappear. The smile on the corner of his mouth widened. After which, it turned into a loud laughter that resounded within the hall. I have finally found you, ancient god mansion. The outer regions of the Black Corner region. Dozens of black-robed figures quietly advanced on the mountain road. A moment later, they paused just beyond the edge of the mountain road where a gate was situation. Who is it? This place is my Demon Blade Gate's mountain gate. All passerby should hurry up and leave. Over a dozen people guarding the mountain quickly lifted their ghost blades in their hands after this group of somewhat strange individuals paused in front of the gate. A fierce glint flashed across their eyes as they spoke in a stern voice. The Black Corner region is beyond this place, right? The leader of the group of black-robed individuals spoke in a faint elderly voice. Humph, since you are aware that it is the Black Corner region, why don't you hurry up and get lost? This is not a place that anyone can simply barge in. A strong man at the gate, who appeared to be the leader, let out a cold snort. It looks like we have come to the right place. The leader involuntarily laughed after hearing this. He slowly lifted his head and revealed an indifferent face under those black robes. His bone-like hand was extended from his sleeve as he spoke in an indifferent voice, Kill them. Leave no one alive. Understood. The dozens of figures behind immediately replied in a deep voice after he opened his mouth. The person at the mountain gate became cautious after the old man opened his mouth. After which, a warning bamboo whistle was swiftly emitted from his mouth. How dare you act presumptuously in front of my Demon Blade Gate? The warning bamboo whistle was emitted. Before that person could finish his cold cry, however, a black figure was magnified in his eyes. In the next moment, his body had actually exploded into a cluster of blood. At the same time, the mountain gate behind him was also blasted into dust. An enemy attack. This sudden explosion resounded over the mountain. Immediately, the sound of rushing wind sounded. Thousands of figures rushed out from the mountain. They held large blades in their hands, which had a densely cold luster under the sunlight. You actually dare come to my Demon Blade Gate to cause trouble. It seems that you have some ability. A figure holding a large blade slowly walked forward from amongst the man people. However, his powerful aura, which could match an expert Do Huang, had just surged when the black-cloaked figure flashed and appeared in front of him in a ghost-like fashion. The latter's sleeve was gently waved and this well-known expert Do Huang in the Black Corner region was blasted into a bloody fog in front of the many stunned gazes. Kill all of them. Additionally, send the information to the other units to attack. I hope that only our people will remain in this Black Corner region after today. The black-robed leader spoke in an indifferent manner after blasting apart this Demon Blade Gates chief with the shake of his sleeve. Understood. The dozens of black figures once again replied after hearing his words. In the next instant, monstrous Do Chi erupted from them. Black chains cut through the air and a slaughter was being enacted. Today was the joyous day when another batch of new students was going to enter the Gonan Academy and its older students being promoted to the Inner Academy. Hence, the Academy had held a ceremony. The entire Academy was currently filled with a joyous atmosphere. The open ground where the ceremony was held was basically filled with people. Many chaotic voices gathered together and charged to the cloud. There was a couple of large combat stage placed at the middle of the open ground. At this moment, Do Chi continued to burst from the combat stage. Human figures crossed each other. Their sparring appeared unusually fiery, hot and intense. The occasional victor would stand proudly, attracting the eyes of many young ladies. The entire academy was currently filled with the liveliness that the youth ought to have. Two huge stone statues stood at the middle of the couple of combat stages. One of them was that of an old man while the other appeared young and handsome. The age of that young man seemed to be similar to that of the students. This situation had attracted some doubts of the new entrants of the academy. Senior sister, one of those two statues belonged to the legendary headmaster, but who does the other one belong to? He doesn't appear very old. A couple of young ladies, who were filled with liveliness, surrounded a tall and beautiful lady as they curiously asked. That is the most outstanding person of the Gonan Academy. Do you know about the Pan Gate and Xiao Gate? They were founded by this senior. The reason that you are able to successfully pass through the Black Corner region when heading here is because of the Xiao Gate's prestige. If it was in the past, there would have been some new students dying in the Black Corner region every year. All of you have experienced the ferocity of that place. The tall young lady's pretty eyes contained a strange expression as they looked at the huge statue and laughed. He appears to be extremely mighty? Where is this senior currently at? A young lady laughingly asked. He has long since left the Gonan Academy. The last time around, I had heard the elders say that the senior has headed to the Central Plains. That is a place that is said to be filled with experts. Hence, all of you should forget about your wishful thinking. It is also senior sister's thoughts, right? You are asking for a beating. Su Qian on the towering stage looked at the lively atmosphere on the open ground. His elderly face had a small smile on it. After which, he lifted his head and looked at the two statues on the open ground. He involuntarily shook his head. It had been decades since he had met these two, right? I wonder how that fellow Xiao Yang is now? Given his talent and ability, it is likely that his achievement would be quite great, Su Qian muttered to himself. During these many years, the Gonan Academy had recruited many extremely outstanding individuals. However, all of them were a little inferior if they were compared with the young man from back then. First Elder Su Qian. A voice was suddenly transmitted from behind while Su Qian spoke. He turned around and involuntarily smiled. There were three figures behind Su Qian. They were two ladies and a man. One of the lady was wearing an instructor robes. Even though the clothes appeared formal and large, it was unable to hide her graceful, delicate body, especially those rare long and sexy legs which had attracted the eyes of many. The other lady was wearing a red dress. A whip was placed on her waist. Her pretty face caused some students to be afraid of taking another look. Who was unaware of the fierce reputation of the demon female instructor Hu Jiao in this academy? Anyone who was targeted by her would be going to have a hard time. There was a man beside the two of them. His expression was indifferent. On his back was a huge heavy sword. If one stood closer to him, one would feel a suffocating aura pouncing onto them. The three of them could be considered to be the most outstanding individuals in the Gonan Academy. If Xiao Yang was present, he would be able to recognize these three familiar faces: Xiao Yu, Hu Jiao, and Wu Hao. The three of them were already considered the backbone strength of the current Gonan Academy. Xiao Yu had advanced into the Dozone class 2 years ago, while Hu Jiao had reached the peak of the Dozone class. It was only a matter of time before they stepped into the Dozone class. Are you thinking of that fellow again? Kai, it has been so many years. I wondered if he had managed to catch Sun Er. Hu Jiao sat down beside Su Qian in a grand fashion. She glanced at Xiao Yang's statue, curled her mouth and said, "You can be rest assured that his achievement is definitely at a level that we cannot even compare with." Wu Hao revealed a smile. It seemed as though he had recalled the time back then when the four of them had formed a group to snatch fire energy. "Blah, I will be able to reach the Dozon class this year," Hu Jiao said. He had already dared to fight against the Dozon class 10 years ago. Xiao Yu by the side smiled sweetly. Her pretty eyes looked towards the statue. There was a complicated emotion flowing in her eyes. "The both of you can just speak for him. It is not as though he can hear what you say." Hu Jiao spoke somewhat bitterly after hearing this. "You have already grown so big, but you are still behaving like you did back then." Su Qian smiled. He looked at the instructors and elders gradually filling up the surrounding seats before slowly standing up. The originally noisy open ground had quickly become much quieter as he stood up. Many pairs of eyes paused on him. Currently, Su Qian was undoubtedly the true person in charge of the Gonan Academy. Mang Tiankai was far too irresponsible as the person in charge. Even some of the instructors had nearly forgotten his name. Su Qian, who had stood up, looked at the many young and tender faces. He involuntarily let out a warm smile. However, he was about to speak when he suddenly frowned. His eyes leaped over the sea of people and looked at the horizon. There was some intense rushing wind sound being emitted from the spot. A bloody killing aura accompanied this sound. Wu Hao. After having managed the academy for so many years, Su Qian had already become as calm as a mountain. He immediately spoke in a calm manner. "Law Enforcement Unit. All elder, be alert." Wu Hao immediately stood up. His body slowly rose into the sky and spoke in a deep voice. Rushing wind sound appeared from the seats and the academy after his voice sounded. Many figures quickly appeared around the open ground. Their eyes were cautious as they looked at the sky. This sudden scene had also greatly startled these students. However, they did not turn into an uproar after being calmed down by the many instructors. The rushing wind sound became increasingly loud as everyone became alert. A moment later, a large group of black shadows appeared in the horizon. Within a couple of flashes, they appeared in the sky above this place. Today is a joyous festive of our Gonan Academy, and it is inconvenient for us to receive outsiders. I hope that all of you can forgive us. Su Qian looked at those black figures in the sky and frowned slightly. He could sense a dense bloody scent from these people. His heart immediately sunk. It seemed that the friendly individuals would not come, and those who did so would not be friendly. Festive. The leader involuntarily smiled slightly after hearing Su Qian's words. He slowly pulled open the cloak and revealed a shriveled face. He glanced at Su Qian. His voice contained a trace of ripple as he said, "Bring everyone and leave the Black Corner region in 2 hours. Is this enough?" "Friend, one should not be joking in such a manner." Everyone's expression had changed at this moment as Su Qian opened his mouth and spoke in a deep voice. If it was not because he could not clearly detect the strength of this person, he would have likely already attacked in anger. "If it is insufficient, all I can do is to kill all of you. Although you consist of children, we do not have any choice," the black-robed old man spoke in an indifferent voice. There was a fury leaping within everyone's eyes after hearing his words. "Elder Han Yu, that statue, it looks like that brat Xiao Yang." A person beside the black-robed old man in the sky suddenly pointed towards the statue below and said, "Oh, that Xiao Yang who have destroyed my Hall of Soul. The expression of the old man, who was called Hunyu, immediately became gloomy. He densely stared at the statue and immediately let out a strange laughter. Originally, I was planning on retaining some kindness. However, it is unexpected that a statue of that person is located here. Since this is the case, it looks like I must turn this place into a bloodbath. Listen up, turn this place into a bloodbath. Do not allow any one of them to remain. A monstrous murderous aura quickly rose and spread in the sky after Hunyu's voice sounded. Su Qian and the rest had a drastic change in expression after they heard the cold cry that was filled with murderous intent from the black-robed person in the sky. Send the signal. Inform the Xiao Gate. Su Qian cried out in a deep voice. These people had an unknown origin, but they were extremely powerful. Many of them were people whom even he could not see through. Hu Jiao by the side nodded her pretty head in a grave manner. A signal flare was swiftly shot out from her finger before it exploded in the sky. Rushing wind sound appeared in the distance the moment the signal was unleashed. Soon after, dozens of figures flew out and appeared in the sky. First Elder Su Qian, what is the matter? The leader, who had hurried over, was a middle-aged large man. His expression was cold and stern as he started at the black-robed individuals in the sky. They were the guards from the Xiao Gate, which had been stationed at the Gonan Academy. Hence, they were able to quickly hurry over the moment they received the signal. There is some trouble. Su Qian spoke in a deep voice. Immediately, he stared at those people in black robes in the sky, cupped his hands together and asked, "Friends, may I know just who are you? Has my Gonan Academy offended you in any way? You cannot be said to have offended us. However, it is just unlucky that you are located in this place." Hunyu smiled faintly. He did not even bother to glance at those experts who had hurried over after the signal was issued. Humph, how arrogant. If you wish to touch the Gonan Academy in the Black Corner region, you will still need to see if our Xiao Gate is willing to agree. The middle-aged large man from the Xiao Gate immediately snorted coldly after hearing this. The dozens of people behind him flapped their Do Chi wings. Powerful Do Chi erupted and the force was quite strong. 2 people, 10 breaths time. Hunyu glanced at the dozens of experts from the Xiao Gate in front of him. The corner of his mouth was lifted in ridicule. With a wave of his hand, 2 black-robed figures from behind had once again appeared. They directly entered the group from the Xiao Gate, which consisted of dozens of experts. Before the group could even begin attacking, a couple of chains had cut through the air. One could hear dozens of muddled piercing sound and the chests of these experts were being penetrated by a chain. The middle-aged man's face immediately paled after he saw that many experts from the Xiao Gate were killed by those 2 in an instant. He involuntarily exclaimed, "Elite Dozuns! Why is there a need to be arrogant when dealing with a small place like this? All of you have thought too highly of yourselves." Hunyu crossed his fingers together and spoke indifferently. All the students within the academy were stunned as they watched the scene in the sky. Those elite Do Huangs, who were aiming to become through their training, were actually unable to even retaliate in the hands of the 2 black-robed individuals. Many students had pale faces. A horror and panic quickly spread. "All elders, attack with me." Wu Hao's eyes had also shrunk as he watched the 2 black-robed figures in the sky. Even though he was already a 1-star Dozun, he was still able to sense a pressure from those 2. This time around, the Gonan Academy was likely truly faced with a great calamity. Regardless of how great a calamity it was, however, he would not take a step back. A determined expression surged into Wu Hao's eyes when he thought of this. A stern cry sounded and he stepped onto the air. He clenched his hand and the heavy sword on his back flew out before landing on his hand. A tragic battlefield aura erupted. Many elders rose into the air after hearing his cry. Their eyes were filled with caution as they watched the black figures in the sky. "Attack!" Hunyu laughed. He once again waved his hand and 5 black-robed individuals slowly stepped forward. After they did so, 5 terrifying auras, which had reached that of the 5-star Dozun, immediately erupted in the sky. Such a terrifying aura caused the hearts of everyone to sink. Any faction in the Black Corner region which possessed an elite Dozun would be considered to be at the peak level. However, just any random mysterious black-robed person here had reached this level. Charge! However, everyone understood from the looks of the murderous aura from these people that they were not friendly individuals. At this moment, all they could do was to fight with all their strength. Wu Hao immediately cried out loud, and the blood-colored heavy sword was suddenly slashed downwards. An enormous blood sword glow cut through the air and ruthlessly slashed towards the 5 black-robed figures. An insignificant trick. The 5 of them revealed smiles of disdain in the face of Wu Hao's attack. One of them randomly pointed his finger. A black light penetrated through the sky and easily shattered the blood-colored sword glow. The remaining wind that blew downwards smashed onto Wu Hao's body with lightning-like speed and sent him flying backwards. A mouthful of fresh blood was involuntarily spat out from his mouth. Bastard! Su Qian's heart sunk after he saw Pang Hao's attack being destroyed with a single strike. His body flashed and he received Pang Hao. Mighty Do Qi erupted from within his body. The strength was a little stronger than even Pang Hao. It seemed that Su Qian's strength had risen greatly during these few years. 2 powerful auras were suddenly emitted from the direction of the Gonan Academy when Su Qian attacked. Soon after, light flashed across the sky. 2 elderly figures appeared. Their expressions were somewhat ugly as they looked at these black-robed people. Old Bai, Old Qian. Su Qian sighed in relief after seeing the appearance of those 2. They could be considered the strongest people within the Gonan Academy. Both of them had reached the 7-star Dozun class. If they were to join hands, they would even be able to fight against an 8-star Dozun. What happened? The 2 of them asked in a deep voice the moment they appeared. Even they felt an unease when facing those people in the sky. Since when did the Black Corner region possess such a powerful expert? Su Qian laughed bitterly and quickly summarized the events from earlier. When Old Qian and Old Bai heard that these people were actually planning on turning the Gonan Academy into a bloodbath, they involuntarily become furious despite their usual calm. 2 7-star Doshengs, you can barely make it. Han Yu casually glanced at these 2 people. Immediately, he turned his eyes towards a person by the side and said, attack and finish them off. It is quite troublesome if they continue to appear one after another. A person beside Han Yu smiled faintly upon hearing this. He quickly stepped forward. Immediately, the entire ground seemed to have become much darker. A vast and mighty aura that was stronger than Old Qian and Old Bai surged out from within his body in all directions like a storm. Everyone's expressions, including that of Old Qian and Old Bai, paled in the face of that vast and mighty aura. Doshen? Old Qian and Old Bai were dull as they looked at the somewhat skinny figure. Their bodies quivered involuntarily. They had never even seen a true elite Dosheng in their entire lifetime. However, this kind of true pressure clearly told them that they were completely no match for this person in front of them. The Gonan Academy has another great calamity arrive. Su Qian smiled in a tragic manner. In front of an elite Dosheng, it was likely that they were unable to feel any motivation to resist regardless of how great a perseverance they had. This was because all of them understood that it was pointless. The entire academy had also become completely quiet at this moment. Although many people were unaware of just how powerful the person in the sky was, they could tell from the expressions of Su Qian and the rest that it was definitely extremely terrifying. At that instant, a despair and fear spread throughout the crowd. A proper festive occasion had turned into a situation where a great disaster was imminent. Elder, may I know how my Gonan Academy has offended you? Old Qian and Old Bai asked in a dry voice. Being related to this person is a great sin. That elite Dosheng revealed a cold glint in his eyes as he pointed at Xiao Yang's statue and spoke in a faint voice. Of course, even if this is not the case, your fate will still be the same. Another mocking laughter sounded after the person's voice sounded. All right, we have tarried long enough, Han Yu frowned and said. Understood. That elite Dosheng smilingly replied after hearing this. He flicked his finger and a spatial fluctuation was formed. Two incomparably ferocious winds swiftly smashed onto Old Qian and Old Bai's bodies with lightning-like speed. The Doqi defense on the bodies of those two collapsed almost immediately. A heavy force was transmitted over. Their faces paled and a mouthful of fresh blood was spat out. Seeing that even Old Qian and Old Bai were unable to receive an attack of this person, everyone immediately felt their limbs becoming icy cold. This statue is really an eyesore. The elite Dosheng's eyes swept over the huge statue after randomly defeating Old Qian and Old Bai. The chill within his eyes soared. If it was not because of this person, the whole of Seoul would also not end up in such a state. Humph! A murderous desire surged within the elite Dosheng's heart. His large hand grabbed violently and a couple of 1,000 feet large energy hands were formed out of nowhere. After which, they ruthlessly smashed onto the statue. Everyone revealed expressions of hopelessness in their eyes after seeing this scene. Today, it was likely that the Gonan Academy would be destroyed. Bang! The huge hand heavily struck onto the statue in front of the countless pairs of eyes. Wu Hao, Xiao Yu, Old Qian, Old Bai and I will fight all out to block them. The both of you should try to escape with the students. Su Qian's expression was pale. He inhaled a deep breath of air and spoke towards Wu Hao at the side. If you wish to die, let's just die together. Wu Hao tightly held the heavy sword. Xiao Yu bit her lips tightly. Her pretty eyes looked at the statue which had been struck by the huge hand. Suddenly, she was startled as she exclaimed, "The statue is still standing." Everyone's eyes hurriedly gathered onto the statue after hearing these words. They saw that the huge statue was actually standing undamaged on the open ground after the dust settled. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. That palm from earlier could easily even destroy a mountain, much less a mere statue. However, what happened? That elite Dosheng was startled and a little lost. Han Kai, quick, withdraw. Han Yu was also startled. Immediately, his expression changed drastically as he cried out sternly. A mere Bansheng actually dares to destroy my statue. Han Yu's voice had only just sounded when an indifferent voice was suddenly emitted from the top of the statue. A wind blew over and the dust was scattered. At the same time, a skinny black-colored figure appeared in front of countless pairs of eyes. The black figure stood with his hands behind him. He extended his left hand and aimed it at the Hunclan's Dosheng from a distance. After which, he clenched it gently. Immediately, the elite Dosheng, whom the entire Gonan Academy was unable to resist, exploded into a cluster of blood fog without even being able to let out a miserable screech. This scene caused countless of people to be immediately stunned. Many eyes held a great disbelief as they looked at the black-colored figure standing on the head of the statue. An elite Dosheng had simply been killed in this way. Xiao Yang? Han Yu's body pulled back as though he had seen a ghost while everyone was stunned. A terrified screech spread throughout the sky. Hearing this name, which was considered quite familiar within the academy, everyone, who were beginning to show signs of recovery, seemed to have once again been struck by lightning. Xiao Yang? That legendary student, who had once left behind a brilliant stroke on the history of the Gonan Academy. This video will end here.